Hi everyone, and welcome back to Newswave. I'm Mia Hammond, and today is April 30th, 2021. Here are today's top stories. As many schools prepare for the fall semester, the question of whether or not students, faculty, and staff will be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine is one of the top concerns. Universities similar to Trinity, such as Georgetown University and American University, announced that they are requiring on-campus students and anyone planning to operate on campus to be vaccinated, with little room for exceptions. As of right now, Trinity University is not requiring the Trinity community to be vaccinated, but highly encourages it in order to create herd immunity. The Vice President for Strategic Communications and Marketing, Tess Coody-Anders, says that in order for the fall semester to look and feel more normal, meaning we could lift our Protect TU guidelines, resume gatherings without caps, hold in-person classes, and possibly stop wearing masks, we hope to achieve a vaccination threshold of 80%, based on calculations developed in conjunction with our epidemiologists and public health officials. Not only were Trinity students, faculty, and staff offered the vaccine, but all of Trinity's vendor partners, ABM and Aramark, have been offered the opportunity to participate in Trinity's distribution of the Moderna vaccine. In seeking the return to normalcy for the fall semester, all aspects of the Trinity community are encouraged to be vaccinated. University physician Marcy Youngdahl notes that herd immunity stands between students and the return to a more typical college experience. We are less than a month away from the spring 2021 commencement, taking place in person on Saturday, May 22nd. This opportunity to walk across the stage in person brings good news as more and more people are graduating. However, students and families will still have the option to join the ceremony virtually. The ceremonies will be live streamed and all students will be acknowledged during the conferral of degrees. In addition to the spring commencement, various cultural organizations and departments will hold their own ceremonies for their graduates. De Colores will be celebrating their Latinx and/or Hispanic graduates on May 21st, as well as planning a drive-by opportunity for participants in San Antonio to receive gifts and connect with other graduates and faculty. The Lavender Graduation will highlight LGBTQ students in a brief virtual gathering where participants will unbox a lavender cord and be recognized for their majors and accomplishments. Kente, a graduation ceremony organized by the Black Student Union and the African Student Association, will also be done virtually this year to recognize Trinity's Black graduates and their accomplishments. The Department of Sociology and Anthropology will be hosting a virtual event in place of a traditional graduation dinner to allow students and faculty to reflect together before saying goodbye. As more information comes out in the coming weeks, we will continue to update you. Devin Karp talked with some seniors following President Danny Anderson's announcement to have an in-person ceremony. In case you missed the students' reactions, here's another look.
Well, as you can see, I'm standing at the football field behind me where the spring 2021 graduation commencement ceremony is going to be held. Last Wednesday, Trinity University President Danny Anderson announced this through an email to all of Trinity. The ceremony is going to be divided into two parts. At 8 a.m., students will be able to receive their Bachelor's of Arts in Music, and at 11 a.m., students will be able to receive their Bachelor's of Science. Students are going to have 4 ticketed members each, which they can bring to watch the ceremony. It will also be held virtually through a live streaming event where students are going to be able to see if they're not tuned in person. For the graduation ceremony at 3 p.m., students are going to be able to be in person at Laurie Auditorium, as the number of graduate students meets the requirements for social distancing.
I think that it is a good opportunity to see everyone and see like so many professors in person.
Daniela John, a communications and English double major, is excited at the prospect of a traditional graduation.
It feels nice to be considered because I feel like seniors have kind of been an afterthought a lot this year.
It's definitely relieving to kind of have a definite plan.
Parker Lacey, a computer science major, tells us how he plans to use his 4 tickets to the commencement.
My parents are already vaccinated, and my fiance as well. So they're all 3 planning on coming, and will definitely be 3 of those tickets.
Just because the event may be happening, that doesn't mean that these seniors are without their own concerns about the weather or if they'll even be able to attend in the first place.
Obviously, the weather is going to be something that we'll have to factor in. I'm sure will be hot, but
I'm going to wait to see when they send out like the final notice and just like take in consideration like how Texas is doing and the vaccination rates and stuff like that. And if it does feel like safe enough, it is something that I will consider going to.
Overall, seniors seem pretty happy to be able to have this ceremony in person. After all, it's really monumental. For Newswave 14, I'm Devin Karp.
Trinity University's famous community traditions, including Nacho Hour every Wednesday and milk and cookies every Thursday, have come to a halt due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Although these traditions have direct student engagement have been halted, Assistant Director of Orientation Programs Esther Esparza formulated an alternative that revitalized the tradition by introducing it to a digital format. In this newly adapted continuation, students, faculty, and staff are invited to host on Instagram an exhibition of their favorite snacks and recipes. This offers new opportunities for people who haven't ordinarily been a part of the tradition to spread their culture. However, the new online version still misses out on the functionality that in-person community building offers. Due to aspirations for people to meet and formulate relationships without the pressure of being professional in person, both the Nacho Hour and Milk and Cookie events are hoped to be incorporated back to their original form soon. Kailey Lopez recently caught up with some local teachers for their views on wearing masks. Stay tuned.
Greg Abbott faced harsh scrutiny over his decision to lift the Texas statewide face mask mandate weeks ago. Local leaders are expressing their concern over his decision, stating it contradicts health officials' advice amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. But the concern does not end there. Many essential workers, such as grocery store employees, health workers, and even teachers, are anxious over his decision. One local San Antonio school district says they will relax some of their COVID-19 safety protocols, making masks optional for students during outdoor recess and physical education as long as they are socially distant. This decision comes after a 6-1 vote from school trustees.
This school year, I think it's important because not everybody's vaccinated, especially the younger kids, and we're still getting reports of COVID cases here on campus. Not as many as we were, but we still get the emails.
Sarah Barrientos, a special education teacher for the Northeast Independent School District, believes students should continue to mask up. Although COVID-19 cases are declining while vaccination rates are increasing, there are still potential pitfalls.
Vaccinated and who wasn't, and so it's probably just for our protection, best protection, that we stay masked up this year.
With Tiger TV, Channel 14, this is Kailey Lopez, Newswave reporting.
Coming up, we have a fire at Lone Star Brewery currently under investigation by the San Antonio Fire Department. Plus, another look at our exclusive interview with Mayor Ron Nierenberg about COVID-19 in San Antonio. Be sure to stick with us.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and The Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
According to SAPD, a fire broke out at Lone Star Brewery last Saturday night. SAPD Chief Charles Hood said that the fire was suspicious. According to Hood, the fire occurred inside a 6-story commercial brewery located at 600 Lone Star Boulevard. Since there was no one in the building and only a few items left by homeless people, the source of the fire is still uncertain. The fire caused severe damage to the building, but no casualties were caused. The arson investigator stated that the severe damage to the building, but there was no dollar amount released. A George Floyd mural in Houston has already been restored after being vandalized. Someone reportedly defaced the mural with a racial slur, but the same artist who originally created the piece later fixed the damage. The city police chief says emotions have been running high since the verdict in Derek Chauvin's trial. The chief also has a message for the vandal, saying, "Keep doing it and you'll be held accountable." Danny Nugent was granted an exclusive interview with Mayor Ron Nierenberg back in January. Here's another look, followed by some updated information on the COVID-19 vaccine in Texas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special interview on Newswave, Trinity University's student news broadcast on campus station Tiger TV. My name is Danny Nguyen, class of 2024, and here with me again is the current San Antonio mayor and Trinity alum, class of 1999, Mayor Ron Nierenberg. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here again.
Great to join you, Danny.
Alrighty, Mr. Mayor. So since the last time we talked in early October, what has changed in the city's ongoing battle with the COVID-19 pandemic, and what still needs to be improved?
The other notable change since we last talked is that we're now no longer anticipating vaccines. We're in the middle of a vaccination rollout. That is a very difficult process, obviously, because there's much more demand than there is supply. And we've seen some changes with regard to the state's rules and how those can be administered. But we are working through that as well. And thankfully, you may see these in the numbers as well. Bexar County and Texas are leading the pack with regard to vaccine administration. Still know where we need to be with regard to achieving herd immunity, but we're getting there, and we're administering the vaccine as well as any in the country at this point.
And as you were mentioning, that actually leads into the next question. So as you said, the COVID-19 vaccines you're currently rolling out, with the vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna currently being distributed, and also other vaccines coming along the way from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, which are still in clinical trials. So how does this vaccination rollout look right now in the coming months, and what does this mean for perhaps a return to normalcy?
It's going to be quite some time before we return to normalcy. If normalcy means that we no longer have to wear face masks out in public, it's going to be quite some time before we achieve that, before we can actually reduce the level of mask wearing and physical distancing that we're doing. We have to achieve herd immunity, and that is not until we get to about 70 to 90% of the community vaccinated. Where we are right now in that process is we are now opening up. Because of the state's rules change, we have now opened up the vaccine eligibility to tier 1A and 1B. That means healthcare workers, frontline healthcare workers, emergency workers, as well as vulnerable populations, those with chronic conditions, and seniors, people over 65. Those are all the folks that are eligible for the vaccine right now, and it's actually 60% of our population. So almost 1 million people are eligible to receive the vaccine. We're only receiving between 20 and 30,000 doses per week, though. So it is a slow moving process at the moment because of supplies. We have mass vaccination sites set up. We have vaccines being administered on an equity basis. So we're reaching into communities who don't have access to the internet to make sure that they have appointments and are getting vaccinated as well. But it is a slow moving process. What we're hoping to happen over the next couple of months is that more supply is being made available. We do expect that to happen with the Biden administration, who has signaled that they're going to release all of the doses that are available in federal inventory. And we're also hoping, as you said, to see the other two brands come online and into distribution very, very soon. Johnson & Johnson as well as AstraZeneca. Both are awaiting emergency use authorization from the FDA. And once that happens, it'll augment supplies, and that'll be a very good thing.
Well, that is all of the time that we have for today. Thank you to Mayor Ron Nierenberg for being here. To the Trinity community and beyond, stay safe and stay healthy. This is Danny Nguyen, Newswave 14 reporting.
According to Mayor Ron Nierenberg, more than half of San Antonio has received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Additionally, more than 34% of San Antonio's population is fully vaccinated. The entire adult population, which is everyone 16 years of age and older, is now eligible to receive the vaccine. Nuremberg also announced that residents can receive a free vaccine with no prior appointment at the Alamo Dome from noon to 5 p.m. Friday. There will be 300 vaccine doses available for these walk-ins as the city continues to try and reach every possible resident. Coming up, we have some stories trending from across the nation, plus an update on all things Trinity sports with Kyle. Don't go anywhere.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and The Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
Last week, we mentioned the pause on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine due to reports of people receiving the vaccine getting blood clots. Federal agencies have now lifted their pause on the Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine. Here's CNN with the details.
More than 9 million doses of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine are ready to be administered in the U.S.
This vaccine's known and potential benefits outweigh its known and potential risks in individuals 18 years of age and older.
This comes 10 days after the CDC and the FDA recommended a pause in distribution of the vaccine over rare blood clots.
This was the necessary steps needed to take to keep the public safe, to figure out what kind of a risk we were dealing with, and then get the best information to people.
Health experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institutes of Health, estimate that between 70 and 85% of the country needs to be immune to the virus, either through vaccination or previous infection, to suppress the spread.
This vaccine is our ticket to ride. This is our ticket to freedom, of returning back to normal life as we knew it before the pandemic. So all of us should want to get vaccinated.
But surveys show a large number of Americans are unmotivated to get the vaccine or no interest in getting vaccinated at all.
We will not be silenced! We will not be silenced!
This week, the Kaiser Family Foundation released a report which estimates vaccine supply may begin to outstrip demand within the next few weeks. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A new beer tastes bad on purpose. Fat Tire released what is called Torched Earth Ale, which is meant to raise climate awareness. The brewery says it is made with low-quality ingredients that brewers might be forced to use in the future. And the result tastes terrible. For example, instead of fresh hops, it used hop extracts and dandelions. Fat Tire says it wants to make the point that climate change also affects beer lovers everywhere. Torched Earth Ale continues a commitment to climate change for the company. Last year, Fat Tire became America's first certified carbon-neutral beer. Jeremy Wolf, alumni class of 2016, was recently interviewed about his time playing baseball at Trinity. He shares his thoughts.
It was the best experience I might ever have. Having children is great, right? Doing fun things in life is great. Going to see the Eiffel Tower, phenomenal. Winning a national championship with your best friends, there is nothing like that. I can look back at my time in baseball and say, wow, look what I was able to accomplish. I got drafted. Unbelievable. Like, if it weren't for the national championship, if it weren't for those guys, I wouldn't have had these experiences that I've been able to have. And so the national championship, looking back on it, honestly, such an amazing accomplishment that we're able to, as a community, just as a collective, able to look back on it and say, like, you know, we were able to accomplish something that we set out to do. And it feels really good to kind of think about that. It's fun. We have a group text still. Everyone still participates in the fantasy football league. We still stay in touch. We're still really close. A bunch of guys still live together. Austin Singer and Drew Butler live 10 minutes away from me. Nick Jewett and Connor Moore still live with walking distance from each other. TJ Garhart and Ryan Gray were roommates for the last 6 months or so. That entire group of seniors, Brody Femmel to Teddy Turner to Nick Jewett to Andrew Waters, like we're all unbelievably close still. And so it'll be nice to like kind of see everybody for the first time in a few years. A junior year, we got to the national championship, lost in the semifinals, but we were so confident in who we were as like a core group of juniors that there was no doubt in our mind we were going to win the national championship next year. And I remember sitting on the bus next to Nick Jewett. We had just lost the semifinals. Seniors are upset, crying. Like I'm never going to play baseball again. And I sit next to Nick Jewett and I'm like, we're going to win next year. And he goes, yeah. And that was it. That was the mindset. That's the mindset that Scannell took in the next year. That's the mindset that the entire group of seniors, the freshmen that played, that entire team was pulling in one direction. And that direction was trying to be as dominant as possible that day. And I would tell the team, like, just do what you can to score a run this inning. Like, win the inning, win the at-bat, like, win that out. And by doing that, by breaking it down very simply, you're able to, like, everyone's able to perform their role. And that 2016 team was really good because everybody understood their role. Everybody was so close as teammates and as friends that we did whatever we could to win. And that's like the Trinity mindset, do whatever you can to win. But there was no ego. The accolades didn't matter. We all made fun of each other. We all had fun at practices because we knew like one day we weren't going to be able to do it anymore. And we wanted to leave our mark and win the national championship and have that be like our lasting imprint on the 4 years that we spent there.
Left field, Wolf, Camps, catches, ball game, and the Tigers' tale in 2016, it's a storybook ending, and the final chapter produces national championship hardware.
We now take it over to Kyle for a look at all things Trinity sports.
Hey, thanks, Mia. We had another week jam-packed with Tiger athletics in action, including multiple sports finishing up conference tournament play. We'll start with women's soccer as they soundly beat University of Dallas this past Sunday to clinch their 24th SCAC title and their 11th title in 12 years. The team started off hot and never looked back, with junior Katie Ward finding the back of the net in just the 4th minute from the assist from junior Alex Walsh. Molly Sheridan doubled the lead 2 minutes later before Cassie Bowers really put the game out of reach by converting a corner kick right before the half. Trinity had 21 shots in the first half to Dallas' 0. The second half saw more dominance as the Tigers fired off 28 shots, including another goal from Sheridan in the 69th minute to push the lead to 4. Junior goalkeeper Lauren Bullish finished the game with her second clean sheet of the season as she anchored the Tigers' defense all season long. The team finished the season unbeaten, with Ward taking home offensive MVP of the tournament, with senior Lindsay Pang earning defensive honors. With many of the starters returning to the team looks to be in the same position this time next year. Along with soccer, the men's and women's track and field team also brought back some hardware last weekend. They swept the SCAC titles at the conference meet in Seguin, where the women clinched their 6th consecutive conference title, and the men won for the first time since 2016. Sophomore Jordan White was named the women's athlete of the meet as she medaled in 6 events, including top finishes in the 100-meter hurdles and the 4x1 relay team. Jordan Jurin won the women's 5K, with sophomore Lane Castor winning the 10K. Senior Riley Edwards capped off her track career with a win in the women's 400-meter hurdles, while Emma Poole secured the win in pole vault and McKenna Bentley won the women's high jump. Avery Puig won the 100-meter dash while finishing second in the high hurdles behind White. For the men's side, they outlasted Texas Lutheran with strong performances from sophomore Drew Bollinger, who placed second in the 200-meter, along with third in the 110 hurdles. Bollinger came out of nowhere in the 100-meter dash, with posting a top 10 time in school history with 10.86 seconds. Senior Sevi Rodriguez won the men's 400-meter hurdles, while teammate Justin Johnson finished third. Johnson also finished top in the men's triple jump, with teammate Elijah Wade finishing runner-up in the same event. Jacob Winchester and Cooper Tyler finished 1-2 in the javelin, while junior Robert Slavoff finished third in the discus. To round out the week, we go to the baseball diamond as the Tigers fell to Centenary last Sunday, 14-12. The loss comes after a victory over the Gens on Saturday, but on Sunday, Centenary got off to a quick start in the early innings. Rafe Shawmut, third inning solo shot, dug into the deficit. Later in the fifth inning, Tyler Pettit notched a 2 RBI single to send the Tigers on a little scoring run before Centenary scored 5 unanswered runs in the late innings to secure the victory. The team faces Southwestern in a 3-game series this weekend, with the first game tonight at 6. The softball team finished the regular season off strong with a 7-1 win over Dallas this past weekend. The team also celebrated their seniors, who played their final home game for Trinity. Senior Allie Holbrook headlined the game with her 16 strikeouts, which ties Trinity's single-game record. Emily Vakovic and Maureen Della Lunas both managed 3 hits in the win, where the Tigers dominated since the start. The team is locked into the 3rd seed for the SCAC tournament this weekend, which will be held at Shriner. And that is all I have for you this week. Make sure to tune in next week for your weekly dose of Trinity Athletic News.
Daniela Jean had some new gardening tips for us. This week she's diving into wildflowers. Take a look.
Although spring is in full swing in Texas, many of the plants around my home are just beginning to bounce back from the historic freeze in February. We have some new growth and blossoms and lots of regrowth around the back and front yard. However, what was hit the hardest is a nearby ditch that usually produces the most vibrant wildflowers each spring. Although this ditch doesn't seem like much, it sustains a mini ecosystem, provides a meadow for deer during the evening, and it even saved my street from Hurricane Harvey floods. Wildflowers are integral to any natural setting. They provide food for local animals, add nutrients to the soil, and assist in purifying water. This species of bluebonnets only grow in Texas and help make the soil suitable for other plants. Pink evening primroses are delicate, yet hardy, as they can sustain intense droughts. This may not be the prettiest plant, but Texas thistle is a favorite for pollinators like bumblebees and butterflies. Open spaces that are allowed to grow as they please without human intervention are essential for local ecosystems. However, you can help out by planting native plants in your garden as well. Although the winter storm stunted much of this area's growth, it is still buzzing with life.
Well, that's all I have for you this week. This has been Mia Hammond, and thank you for joining me here on Newswave.